Greed! Greed! Oh, God, what a bane of my existence, right? It's the bane of every casual enjoyer of games' existence. It's greed. It feels like more and more every day this hobby tends to get more and more expensive. And you know what's odd about gaming in general? Gaming as a whole has been mostly, I would say, cheap. It's a pretty cheap hobby, at least compared to other hobbies. You know, for example, you play golf, you gotta buy clubs, you gotta buy balls, then you gotta go to the golf course, you gotta have a pass, you gotta have all these things. But the special part about gaming for the better part of about 10, 15, even 20 years is that it's been mostly an accessible hobby since I would argue the early 2000s. Now, before then, of course, there were a few exceptions, like the PlayStation 3 being, $600 or some shit like that, for 2006 or 2005. There's been some exceptions. Nintendo games back in the day used to go for absurd prices. So seeing price hikes in the gaming sphere as a whole is nothing new. However, one company that most people do enjoy, that I like a lot, and a lot of people love, is Steam. Well, Steam has recently announced their prices for the new in-stock, not Steam machines, but Steam Decks. However, there was one particular small, tiny little detail about the Steam Deck, because oh boy, man. $200 increase and then $300 for the 1 terabyte edition. I mean, holy fuck knuckles, man. What the fuck? Are you serious? This is what we're doing now. Great googly moogly. Dude, what? Man, I tell you what, man. It ain't gonna be Santa Claus coming this year. It's gonna be goddamn Krampus, and he's gonna be throwing a goddamn sack of coals at you because you wanted the Steam Deck. I'm usually one to talk about how greedy some companies can be, and even the ones that I love, but holy shit. Now, there are a few exceptions. There are a few things that we need to rule in here. One, Valve is a mostly great company. And number two, we all know the real reason why. If you get what I'm throwing down here, if you're picking up what I'm throwing down, it's AI. Because me, personally, I have a theory. This is the tinfoil hats are on. The tinfoil hats are completely on at this point. I don't think Valve did this maliciously. I don't. I just do not see that happening. Is it possible? Of course. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. Let's be honest, okay? Most of the executives are Mr. Krabs at this point, man. All these guys care about is money. However, Valve is a mostly well-ran company that doesn't fuck over their customers very often. Steam has so many great benefits. They enjoy, they actually like emulation, things like that. So, do I think Valve is doing this maliciously? I just don't know. There's too much hot water. There's too much air going on. Couldn't tell you. However, holy shit, $300 increase, huh? If you didn't know already, for example, the Steam OLED, which by the way, they're not even selling the normal one anymore. They're only selling the OLED model. The OLED model of the Steam Deck originally priced at $649, and now it's up into the $900 range. That is fucking crazy. That's like the price of a low-end PC. And I get it. AI has been a big problem for these manufacturers because the parts that they're trying to buy are way overpriced. So because of that, they have to compensate for that somehow. And a lot of people are bringing up Nintendo. Yes, I don't agree with Nintendo's policies and stuff. I don't like Nintendo. However, Nintendo's price increase from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2 was reasonable. Most people would say pretty reasonable. Not going full goatsy, on your customers. $50 wasn't so bad, but it was fucking insane. This is insane. $300, $200 for the 500 gigabyte version. What the fuck, dude? God almighty, man. It's like they're really just reaching their hand up your ass at this point. And it's so bad. Because, again, gaming used to be such an accessible hobby. People really enjoyed playing games, and they liked playing games because they were cheap. But now you have $80 controllers. You got fucking $70 games. You got $900 consoles. I mean, even PlayStation, for example. PlayStation's price increase was stupid. Xbox's price increase was stupid. I think the only one that did a reasonable price increase was Switch. But I did make a complaint about how their older stuff went up in price too, which was, old. So that was the reason why I made that video. However, this is just such a shame because I know Valve probably didn't want to do this, but they had to in order to make up for the sales because they don't have very many accessories that come along with the Steam Deck. They barely even have any games as a whole. So they're riding on the Steam Deck selling well. And what's crazy is that it sells well. The Steam Deck sells very well. It's a very great piece of hardware. I don't personally own one. I'm not really a handheld gaming guy myself. However, to say the Steam Deck don't sell well is an understatement. It sells very well. It is just unfortunate that buying a Steam Deck is almost a waste of money when you can just spend the same amount of money on a PC. I mean, really and truly, you could spend the same amount of clams on a PC and get just the same amount of benefits, if not more, just for a few $100s more. Yeah, it's a shame that PC gaming as a whole is becoming so expensive. Like, not only is the hobby itself becoming expensive with just like a standard PlayStation or a standard Xbox and the games and the controllers and all these knickknacks and wickwacks, man, but now that PC gaming, the best one, is also becoming expensive. Everything's becoming expensive, man. The whole technology sphere as a whole, I think eventually is probably going to crash. And I don't want that to happen. I like the tech sphere, man. This is my fucking job, dude. It's like, man, I don't know. I don't think Valve did this out of malice. I just don't think so. It's very possible and it's very likely. So I wouldn't get your hopes too high if these things do come back in stock, when and if they do, and just expect the price to keep going up, because honestly, that's the only future that I can see. Everything's getting so expensive that your average Joe can't even buy a Steam Deck and he has to settle for a Switch. God forbid. Man, I don't know. But hopefully this wasn't out of malice. Hopefully this was for the greater good, and maybe these prices for these parts and computers and different things will eventually go down. However, it's not looking too good with the whole entire fucking push for AI these companies are going for, and I will continue my fight against AI, and it's such a shame that Valve has to do this. And I'm also very curious on what the Steam machine is going to look like, because now it seems like the Steam machine is going to be like two bands. Like, you're going to have to drop a testicle and an arm for that one, man. It feels like that's exactly what's going to happen, but hopefully it doesn't. But shit, I don't know, man. It's getting bad, man. That's all I had to yap about. So, see ya.